Dr. Tirumali has not just sat in his air-conditioned office and written up a book of history. He has gone out into the villages, he has talked to people, and he has talked to people who normally others won't talk to. He has collected pamphlets, as he said, which probably very few people have read, but they were circulated and they were read in the villages. That itself, that collection of pamphlets would be a great source of historical evidence for the future. And more than anything else, I think this book is unusual. It's unusual because it attempts to give voice to people who have been voiceless. And these are people who don't come to microphones, they don't come to seminars in Hyderabad, they are not in the assemblies or the parliaments, but they are in their village homes and they have their ideas, they have their hopes, they have their fears. These are some things that Dr. Tirumali has listened, heard, and tried to bring out in this particular book. As you all are aware of, the Telangana movement has been the widest, deepest, longest standing movement other than the national movement. There has been no other movement since then that has had this width, depth and patience. Patience beyond known limits. The current phase itself, if you take it from December 9th, 2009, has gone on for almost 3 years. They have been patient with their politicians, they have been patient with the government of India, they have been patient with the Sri Krishna Commission, they have been patient everywhere. But it's not been all patience. I would like to remind you that over 600, and we have lost the tally now, at least at 600 I had a list. But now it's more than that. 600 young men, mostly young men, have committed suicide. These are people who had voices but felt that they could not be heard unless they made the ultimate sacrifice. These people will be forgotten. If it is not for historians like Dr. Tirumali who will go and talk to them, their parents, their families, find out their names, their villages, what their hopes were, what their conversations were, their background. These are the people who are the real voices of Telangana. Because here I am standing in reasonable comfort and talking to you. These people gave their lives. They no longer exist. The amount of unhappiness and trauma that they have created for their own families. Some of them are married, some of them are fathers. Certainly all of them are sons and brothers. These are the people that we are going to miss unless we continue in this tradition of Dr. Tirumali to document, to find out who they are, what they are, and to, in fact, give voice to their voices after they are dead. The second phenomenon that I think is not being fully recorded, which again fits into Dr. Tirumali's methodology, is the Naxalite movement in Telangana, which has gone on again for a very long time, but not with the same depth and same width as the Telangana movement. Telangana movement is a mass movement. The Naxalite movement is a movement of an elite who have thought that to overthrow the state. Nonetheless, the people in that movement have also made sacrifices. In fact, they have been killed, they have lost their occupations. And these are people again whose voices will be lost. Because unless somebody proceeds in the same, as I call it, the Tirumalai methodology, and goes and interviews these people who have been killed in police action or have died for other reasons, or have surrendered or have given up the cause, and documents them, the history of this region will be lost. it is easy to talk about princesses and politicians, Nawabs and Rajas and the rest of it. But the history of the region is not just the history of the elite. Definitely the elite play a role, they determine the issues. But now, for the first time in modern times, the people also have a voice and they're making their voice heard. But somebody has to hear them. Somebody has to record them. Somebody has to put them in detail. And this is the job, I think, of people who are committed to the cause of Telangana, committed to the region, committed to their own profession, committed to bringing out the truth and bringing, as it were, voice to the voiceless. That is one part. The second part I would like to bring to your attention is, when the state of Telangana is created, will it be any different from the state of Andhra Pradesh that has been our experience in the last 60 years? If it is not going to be any different, then it's not worth the effort. Then it is a tragedy of monumental proportions. That 600 plus people should die, that this whole movement should go on for 3 years, and then at the end, what do you get? A mini Andhra Pradesh. The same logic, the same distribution of power, the same distribution of wealth, the same neglect of backward districts. Is it going to be any difference that East Godavari is replaced by Nizamabad, or Guntur is replaced by Nalgonda, and Adilabad is neglected, and Mahbubnagar is neglected? See, these are issues. And what are the aspirations of the people who have been part of the movement? What were their hopes? What were their desires? To the extent that Dr. Tirumali has documented, yes, there are some very clear things. But I think there is more. I think there is an expectation that they will get better livelihoods, that they will get jobs. And there I think we have a problem, because jobs in the government sector are not available. The government is cutting back on at every stage. So jobs have to be created in terms of livelihood, in terms of occupations and skills imparted, and learning and placement. These are important things, because most of the young people who have been driving the movement, both in the villages and the cities, have no jobs. One of the driving forces is the fact that they think and they hope that with a new state, a new economic space will be created. Forget the political space. The political space will be always dominated by the politicians and the money behind the politicians. I am not worried about the political space. I am worried about the economic space. Whether it is for tribals, whether it is for scheduled castes, backward castes, minorities, what is their livelihood? What is their income? Can we do something to improve that? Automatically the political action comes in. Poor people do not rise in revolt. People who have got the ability to stand up and to say boo, those people are heard. And again I go back to Dr. Tirumali's book, that he has gone and found those people who don't have that sattu, if you like, or the courage or the capacity to raise their voices. He has tapped their voices, and he has brought them into the discourse. But I think there is more to be done. There is a lot more to be done, and I'm sure Dr. Tirumali's book will serve as an example to a lot of young researchers. This region is a researcher's paradise. You just have to have the ability to go and visit the villages, talk to people, listen rather than make speeches, record as accurately as you can. Nowadays you don't even have to take notes. You have a tape recorder and you can look at it later, and then you don't need to the problem of forgetting what has been said is no longer there. And these are important tasks if you are going to record the movement. And I think Dr. Tirumali has been very lucky that in the last 2 or 3 years he has had a movement happening before his very eyes. So he has captured it, Very few people have this opportunity. Certainly not historians and political scientists. It's usually after the event that you look at it. His is a work in progress, as it were, and needs to be carried forward either by him or by his colleagues. And saying this, I would like to stop because there are other people who would like to say. But I read the book. I read it. I got it 2 days ago, and I read it, and I was quite pleased. And I hope he will look at his pamphlets and publish them as a source of further analysis for others, and create a new agenda for historians on Telangana. Thank you very much.